This is my pattern making hack to make perfect circles for flounces and skirts. In this video, I'll show you how I made this simple handmade tool that makes creating perfect circles quick and easy, and it'll save you time and reduce your frustration.
Okay, let me show you how I made these perfect circles here on this flounce. You can just, use a long ruler and measure them out. It takes quite a long time and it's less precise. You can see this is just a very nice, clean line that I have in all these places. So I use them for flounces and I also use it for a circle skirt. So it becomes, when you have to make this, it's great to have a tool. I did have this compass, but you can see this only provides a circle that's the most 8-inch in diameter, 8 inches the entire way across. We need something that is much, much bigger than that. That's not going to help us that much. Perhaps this would do for if you were putting a flounce on a sleeve. This might be sufficient, but generally anything that I add a flounce to or a circle skirt, it's just not going to be nearly big enough. So I created my own tool. It's not very pretty, but it's actually quite useful, and it was very inexpensive because I just used my scrap paper. So what I did, I'm going to show you how I made this. So I cut a piece of paper out. This is just my regular pattern paper, and you can cut it any length you want. You can see this one is much, much longer. I don't know, you probably don't need to make it as long as I did, because once you get down here, the fabric won't even accommodate that length. So I think I'll just going to do it the width of my pattern paper, which is around 60 inches. So that's what I'm going to stick with. And then I did 8 inches across because this is 2 inches. So it's actually quite simple. All I did is I folded this once, then I folded it twice. You want to have these multiple folds because you want it to be durable. That's why I folded it so many times so it wouldn't rip. This paper is quite heavy, but you could make it also out of a cardstock, and then you wouldn't need to fold it this many times. I mean, that's an excellent if you have a long piece of cardstock. So I'm just making sure those nice creases here just so it stays closed. You can tape it closed as well but generally mine stays pretty well closed by the time you put all these holes in it. And then you can see up here I added a hole at the very tippy top with my awl. I'm going to draw a line. Let me draw the line first. I drew a line down the center, so you make sure that you're right down the middle there with all your markings so you're not going off course. So I'm going to this is 2 inches wide, so I'm going to draw it 1 inch down. Then we're going to take the very top. Don't go too close to the top because you just don't want it to rip. You can see mine did rip over time because I used it. You can see how many times I use it. Every time I need a new measurement, I just measure down and I add a new hole. So it did start ripping. So I just put a piece of tape over it, and that actually works quite well. That's worked for quite a while now. So you can just continue to put tape over it. So I'm going to go through here with my awl. Keep that centered. Okay. And then you can just measure down. Let's say, for instance, I need to go 8 inches down, which would be the measurement I just did for that flounce you just saw. So I can you can even put this in here if you want, but I don't think it's necessary. But so I have that lined up the hole at 8 inches. And then I'm here, put a hole there. And then I just indicate what that measurement is. It's an 8. And it's a good idea if you typically have 1/2 inch seam allowances. For this one, for the flounce, the 8 was the waist or the hip line. So I would want to go 1/2 inch up above, because you would add that in above. Go this way. Line that up. This would be 1/2 inch above. So that's 7.5. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is grab my rabbet and put a hole. You know, this, I put a hole up here last time, but I think it's smarter to put a hole down here to steer clear of my numbers. So I'm going to add it down here this time. Put a hole in there so I can hang it with my pattern hook and keep it out of the way until I need it next time. So here I have a brand new one. This one was getting quite raggy, so I think I'll keep both of them. If I need an extra long one, I always have this one. You can see for this one, I always used to fold it up because it was just too long most of the time. And as you're swinging it around, it gets quite, you know, it sometimes gets stuck into things. So let me show you how that works now. So what you do, let's turn this over. You create a nice square. When you want to do your half circle, you need a corner. So I'm going to make this at a right angle here. Okay. Let's use our new one. I take my awl, I put it through that top hole and align that with this, I'm lining here, right here on this point. So I'm going to align that in there to get that and hold that down firmly. Okay, then let's get this out of the way because I don't want it to get caught on things. Put your pencil in that 8 line and just swing around. And there we go. You have a perfect half circle. Well, that's a quarter circle. Let me show you what then I would need the seam allowance. So I would use the 7.5 line to put in my 1/2 inch. See, that gets caught. That's what's always a problem. When it's so long, it gets caught on other things. And there we go. So we have a perfect quarter circle. We're going to be putting this, typically we put this on the fold. So once you put that on the fold, it would be then a half circle for maybe the front of the flounce, and then you would do another one for the back of the flounce. And it's quite easy. So you take a little time to create it once, and it really makes your life easy moving forward.